Hi everyone, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. This is another episode in our Tip of the Day series, and I think we're on number 21. We've turned 21. This is a particularly difficult time for the whole world. COVID-19, or coronavirus as it's called, is on everyone's minds. Perhaps as you're watching this, you're self-isolating, you're in quarantine, perhaps you're in terrible fear of something happening. Listen, stay safe and do sensible things. If you can avoid gatherings, do that. If you can avoid crowds of people, definitely do that. No need to hoard up on things. You're never going to go through 20 packs of toilet paper. On the positive side, it's a time that we actually get to slow down and quieten down and reflect on life and reflect on what's important to each of you. So during this time here, do everything you can to stay safe. Don't go crazy and don't neglect people around you. Still show care and love and concern and friendship, but just do sensible things that will keep you out of harm's way as well. Let's get back to the episode today. I wanted to take an in-depth look at how we control... Wait, I forgot about this. Do you remember that? How many of you got one of these? So this was Elon's gift to those of us who made a Model 3 reservation on the night of the launch, which was a lot of years ago, 2016. So on the day of June the 3rd, 2018, when I picked up my car, that was lying in the console. It's so cool. I just keep it for sentimental reasons. Call me a sentimental fool if you like, but here it is. We'll put it aside. So, looking at climate control, I want to show you today 3 different ways of controlling the climate in the Model 3. 3 methods are: number 1, through the app from your home before you leave. What can you do? What can you control? What can you not? Number 2, touch screen. What about all the controls on the screen? They look confusing. Perhaps they are to you if you've not yet dug into them a little. We're going to do that today. Number 3, voice commands. Set passenger seat heating to 1. I'm beginning to fall in love with voice commands. In the beginning, they were just terrible. Well, in the very beginning, they didn't do anything other than play a song or play an album or play a radio station. Then Elon expanded the vocabulary, and now we actually have useful voice commands. And today I'm going to show you some of the commands that will actually let you control the climate without having to tap on the screen and try and do complicated things while you are driving and you should be concentrating. So there it is. Phone app, touch screen, voice commands. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get in the car and we'll go and take it from there. Welcome to my all-time favorite location, inside of Red Dragon. So it's always an awful experience to get out of the car and be confronted by the cruel, brutal world out there. Inside here, it's a safe space. It's a wonderful space. So today we're going to look, of course, at different ways of controlling the climate in your Model 3. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 ways: the app, directly touching the screen, and obviously using voice commands. So those are the 3 we'll look at. Time now to take a look at the screen and look at the different ways in which you can control the overall climate through the controls. First of all, on the lower edge, you'll see all of the major controls. Seats, heat the front driver seat, heat the passenger seat at whatever temperature you want. Demister will blast some air onto the front screen. If you tap it again, it'll blast hot air, temperature will turn to high, and the fan will turn to high as well. Turn it off by tapping it. Rear window demister, defogger, just tap on that, turns it on, tap that, it turns it off. Now, you'll notice that you may see 2 different temperatures here, or you may not. You see, we can synchronize the temperature by tapping sync. Or we can tap it again and unsync. And that means I can add a higher temperature for the driver and a cooler temperature for the passenger. Notice how I changed it. I didn't have to go and tap the little arrows. I just dragged with my finger and it changed. The temperature is now unsynchronized between the driver and the passenger, but a simple tap on any one of these 2 will bring up the sync button and unify it once again. So let's pretend we want the same temperature. Frankly, I'm a little puzzled by how you could have Arctic chill blasting that way and lovely warm heat over here. They're going to mingle pretty quickly, but nevertheless, the idea is great. The Model 3 just went by. Let's get into the controls. Simply by tapping the temperature icon, we have full control. Now, top left, there is auto. We've set it to 22 degrees. The fans and the ventilation and the heating will now be controlled automatically. If I make it colder, you'll hear the fans increase and the air conditioner will come on. Hear that? Wow. It's trying to bring the temperature down. As we get more toward the temperature that's in the car right now, the fans slow down and the heating slows down. You see, because everything is on auto. Now, many times we don't want it to be there. So if you tap and turn it off, you've now got control all around. For example, if you wanted to cool without the air conditioner, it won't get quite as cool, but you are saving power. You could do that. I'm going to turn it on. If you want the outside air to circulate, you leave it as it is, but otherwise, if you tap it, you are recirculating internal air. Right now, the air is coming toward me, and I can change the direction of the airflow by pushing on the animation. Push it toward the window, push it toward my passenger. I'm not sure why, but there we go. Same with the passenger. If they want to clear their side window, they could just do that for a while. Bring it back again. At about that level, it's blowing directly toward your chest and giving you a normal cooling. And how fast do you want the air to flow? Well, we can up that, and you can hear the fan. Or we can bring it right down to 1. And I still feel it. It's a really nice breeze just blowing on me. That's great. Now, what about who gets the air? Well, first of all, if I wanted to put it onto my feet as well, I'm going to turn that little symbol on. So turn it off, turn it on, and I'm now getting air on my feet and on my chest or my face. It does dilute the strength of the flow of air. So I might want to put it onto 2 so that I restore the vent that's coming toward me and give it more strength, and have it flowing now balanced between aerial and in the footwell. What about that? Well, we could. Now we're diffusing the air even further. Some is going up, some is coming toward me, and some is going down into the footwell. A fan speed of 2 might not be sufficient to drive all 3 of those. At the moment it is. I'm feeling it on my feet, I'm feeling it on my chest, and it's going onto the window. But what, I hear you cry, about the people in the back? All right, let's just turn that off and that off and that off for now. We're going to have the air just flowing straight toward me, and down in the bottom right, kind of hidden away there, that is rear passengers. Turn it on. Now the air is flowing through the rear side of the central console, and what we can do there is to adjust side to side or up to down ventilation. I've shown you everything that there is, excepting that when you're in park, which I clearly am right now. If you're in park, you also have what we looked at last week, dog mode, camp mode, or leave it on when you leave the car. So temperature continues to be maintained when you leave the car. Consult that other video. I'll link it up top here so that you can look up the details of that if you missed it. One more thing, as Steve Jobs was very fond of saying, that is yet another tab. So we have climate control tab, and we have seat heaters. So I'm the driver. I now have a setting of 3 on my a setting of 3 on my seat. Passenger only likes a very gentle seat heater, so we put it onto 1. Somebody's in the back of your car, but only in 1 seat, obviously. You give them heat, but you don't give the rest. Now, you could turn them all off at once. That's it. Then we can jump back to climate. This is now familiar territory for you. So turn off the rear because we don't have anyone sitting there. Hope that's helped you better understand the finer details of the climate control and of the seat heating as well. Now here's another shortcut. Climate control is on. I want it completely off. Hold for 2 seconds. Everything's off. No air, no heat, nothing. It's completely off. Tap it, everything turns back on to the previous setting. And everything is as it was. And if I wanted to turn that off, I could still do so, or turn it on. Up the fan, put it down. If I want fresh air coming through, I could do that as well. And that's it, folks. So let's close it and turn it off. Now we're going to look at how to control using voice commands. So let's do this. As you know, you just have to tap the right scroll wheel on the steering wheel and issue a command. Turn climate control on. And you can see down the bottom there, we have exactly the last settings that were in use. Set temperature to 22 degrees. There it is. That's beautiful. I tapped it, so it went to 22.5. Set temperature to 19 degrees. Good. Set the fan speed to 8. Sounds like a gale. Set the fan speed to 1. Turn seat heating on. So that turned both of them on. Turn passenger seat heating off. Set passenger seat heating to 1. There we go. That's good. Set driver seat heating to 2. Good. Turn all seat heating off. Turn climate control off. Honestly, folks, voice commands have gotten so much better. I almost love them, and you will too. Get out there and practice. We're going to look at how you can use the app to control it as well, and then that will give you the third and final method of controlling climate control. So here we are in Red Dragon, and we are parked, of course. And there, third option down, is climate. So we tap on climate. It shows us the current internal temperature with 16 degrees right now. 2 options. Turn on climate, and you can tap on that heating symbol on the right to get full heating in the entire car. Let's just turn climate on and manually adjust. And you see it goes blue when it needs to cool, and it's going to go red when it needs to heat. We're going to set it to 23.5. I'm going to turn my driver's seat heating on to 3 and the passenger on to 1. I could do the same for the rear passengers if there were any. I'm not seeing an easy way to turn all of these off. I'm holding it down, but I'm not getting all of them to go off, so they certainly can go off manually. But I probably need to research. If any of you know that, go down in the comments, and wouldn't you throw a comment there that will enlighten us. Now we could instead, after we've turned off the climate, we could turn the right hand side on, and that turns everything to high, and everything blasts through. The air is going at 8 or 10 on the fan. Heating will go as high as it can. So for now we'll just turn that off. Get back to the menu just like that. And that's it. That's the extent to which you can control the climate from your app. And of course you can do this from the house before you leave, which is fantastic. There's your third method of controlling climate in Model 3. That's it for today. I wanted to keep it relatively short. One of the advantages of perhaps periods of self-isolation is that you now have the time to go through all 21 of my tips of the day. If you've missed out a whole bunch of them, this is a good time just to start at the beginning, start on the playlist. I'll link it here, I'll link it down below. Click on it, work your way through. When you've seen one, choose skip and go to the next one. But they're useful, and if you are relatively new to your Model 3, you'll find them very, very helpful. So thank you once again for listening, for supporting the channel. I always say it, but we need to. If you subscribe, if you click notify, you'll get an email that tells you it's up. So subscribe, notify. Feel free to use my referral code if you're about to buy a Tesla. Get yourself 1500K, 1,000 miles of free supercharging, and get to enjoy and experience the incredible supercharger network that Trevor Page and Ian Pavelko just used to get right across Canada. If you haven't watched their episode, go on to Tesla Owners Online. I've linked it below. Go and look at the episode where they crossed from the west coast, Tsawwassen, all the way across Canada, right to Nova Scotia, and it's an amazing journey. So do go and look at that, and until next time, which will be tomorrow, we will see you. Look after yourself.